Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with another Snake Eye deck, but this is one that I have not personally tried before just earlier this week, actually. I was going to say a couple weeks ago, but no, it's definitely been a lot more recent than that. Although it is one that I have thought about trying since even before then. That is going to be Sky Striker Snake Eye. So, this is a rather unique deck hybrid here, where we are mainly backing the pure Snake Eye engine with a Sky Striker package. As you can see from the extra deck, it's not a full Sky Striker deck. Indeed, the only two Sky Striker extra deck monsters we have are Kagari and Kaina. In the main deck, we're rocking a full play set of engages. We got a couple Widow Anchors, and probably the most important, we also have a Shark Cannon, but I think the most important of these Sky Striker cards is going to end up being the Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones. And if you've ever wondered why this one Sky Striker card is still at 1, while all the others are pretty much at 3 at this point, have been coming off the list slowly, that's because of this card's ability to be used in not just Sky Striker, but a lot of different decks like this one. So Hornet Drones will probably just remain at 1. It's probably going to stay at 1 for the sake of this engine's consistency, right? But I think that all in all, this hybrid is still very good. So what does this deck do that other Snake Eye decks don't? The main thing is that this deck plays very, very well going second. Extremely well, in fact. Although, it is not explicitly a going second deck. If you do actually decide to take the first turn if you win the coin flip with this deck, in that case, you're going to pop off with a Snake Eye line most of the time. However, as you can see, again, if we go second, we have so many tools to help with that. We have enemy controllers, we have forbidden droplets, both of which can also be set and then utilized during our opponent's turn, which is really nice. As well as a playset of triple Tactics Thrust, which can help us search a lot of very important spell cards to our engines, like Bonfire and, of course, Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. The other reason to, of course, play a lot of spells is that when we use Engage, we like to try to get the draw when possible, as well as searching for typically Hornet Drones. You know, a lot of the time you'll be going like Engage into Hornet Drones for Kagari. Kagari can get back the Hornet Drones, summon another token that you can go into Kaina, and then from there you can pivot really easily into a Link 2. That's another reason actually why this deck is pretty good going second, because again, let's say you open, you know, Engage and Bonfire. Again, you can lead by activating Engage, grabbing Hornet Drones for Kagari, add back Hornet Drones, and then summon the Kaina, go into Little Knight, banish a card into your opponent's field, and have Little Knight set up, and then you can, like, you know, activate Bonfire or normal summon Poplar or something like that. Also, before I forget, I gotta give a huge shout out to friend and teammate of mine, Ivy. Ivy, who won one of the Challenger Cups actually with Snake Eye. She is the one who sent me this deck list. I think her name on Twitter is Winter Ivy YGO, if I recall correctly. But yeah, she shared this list with me. Well, not this exact list. I made a couple of slight modifications. It was at 41 cards. I took out a Monster Reborn, and then I took out a triple attack we were on too, and then I went down to 40 and added a third Poplar to kind of help us open Snake Eye plays a little bit more often, of course with the Ash being at 1, but I do think that Monster Reborn is a very good tool for this deck. One thing you'll probably notice pretty quick is that between Econ and Widow Anchor, and then also like Monster Reborn, if you do choose to play that, we have a lot of cards that allow us to access our opponent's stuff and use them as resources for our board, which is actually another reason why I really like this variant, for the ability to steal your opponent's monsters so easily, because it's kind of like, it's not only just removal, but also it adds, you know, materials to your board as well. It's a huge net gain whenever you resolve Widow Anchor or Econ to steal an opponent's monster, for sure there. We do also have the Magician Souls to act not only as an extender, but also to help us go into Selene a little bit more easily. The Magician Souls effects to draw cards, of course, very relevant in this variant. Can potentially help you get some spells in the yard for an Engage if you want to go into that. If you ever need to get your main monster zone clear, you can always link this off for like Link Rebo, for example. Just a lot of things that Magician Souls can kind of help you with as an extender in this particular variant. I actually don't think Magician Souls is like horrible in pure Snake Eye right now, but I think a pure Snake Eye deck running Magician Souls is probably not much more optimal than like Fire King Snake Eye, for example. Let's see, what else is there to really say about this deck? I think I've covered pretty much everything about the way that this deck likes to play a lot of the time, right? The extra deck, aside from a couple of Sky Striker monsters here, is pretty much just a standard Snake Eye extra deck here with all the links and stuff. And really, you don't lose that much by devoting 2 extra deck slots to Kagari and Kaina. A lot of people who are very familiar with pure Snake Eye can attest that you typically have like 12 to 13 cards you kind of like quote-unquote have to play in the extra deck, and then you have those extra slots which are kind of whatever. Sometimes it can be the Synchros, but again, in our case, it's going to be a Sky Striker package here. I think that probably the biggest weakness of this particular variant is that it doesn't get to play a lot of hand traps. It instead opts to, again, play a lot of these going second tools instead, which is not the worst trade-off in the world, but as somebody who's like been very used to playing Snake Eye decks with a ton of hand traps up to this point, it was a little weird sometimes to not really open that much in the way of hand traps. As you can see, we don't even really have room for Ash Blossom here, but I think that overall, this is not only a very interesting variant of the deck, but also an extremely valid one. And once again, got to give a huge shout out to friend Ivy. Again, I believe her name on Twitter is Winter Ivy YGO. Winner of, I wish I could remember what week, although I don't even remember what all weeks I topped, so anyway, she's a very good player, and very, very grateful to her for showing me this list, which I think I'm going to now go ahead and break down the list card by card. The duels that we're going to watch are going to be from the regional qualifiers, world championship things or whatever. This will be the last round of games from that, as I was just finishing up the bonus missions there. So, because I think I said last time, like, those were the last replays from there, but excuse me. Anyway, yeah, let's break this down card by card, and then we'll watch some games. So we are on 1 Magician Souls, 1 Snake Eye Ash, 1 Snake Eye Oak, 3 Snake Eyes Poplar, 3 Maxi, 3 DML Star the Black Witch, 2 Snake Eyes Flambridge Dragon, 3 Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, 1 Triple Tactics Talent, 3 Triple Tactics Thrust, 1 Sinful Spoils of Subversion Snake Eye, 3 Bonfire, 1 Original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, 1 Divine Temple of the Snake Eye, 3 Enemy Controller, 2 Called by the Grave, 1 Sky Striker Mecha Hornet Drones, 2 Sky Striker Mecha Widow Anchor, 1 Sky Striker Mecha Shark Cannon, 3 Forbidden Droplet, and then 1 Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spoils. That's going to do it for the 40-card main deck. For the extra deck, we're on 1 Lake Kribo, 1 Sky Striker Ace Kagari, 1 Sky Striker Ace Kaina, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Hita the Fire Charmer Ablaze, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, 1 SP Little Knight, 1 Celine, Queen of the Master Magicians. Let's see, we have 1 Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames, 1 Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, 1 Access Code Talker, 1 World Sea Dragon Zealantis, 1 Salmon Great Raging Phoenix, and then finally 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. That'll do it for our list. Let's see some duels. Okay, so as usual, I'm not going to remember off the top of my head what decks I'm playing against, because as I said before, these are going to be games from the event. But again, these should be the last round of replays. So, as you can see, again, we won the coin flip, and we do actually choose to go first here. Going to lead with a Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. Opponent here is going to throw out an Ash Blossom. Funnily enough, this hand is, like, not really going to do any amount of Sky Striker plays. It's all, or Snake Eye plays, rather, it's all Sky Striker stuff. So, got an Ash for the Engage. I chained Call By, and they chained Maxi, which I thought was a little bit weird. Although, to be fair, if you think you're against Sky Striker, then Maxi can be kind of hard to use, because if you just activate it when they normal summon Ray, they can chain Ray's effect. So here I get to triple attack and hand rip from the opponent. We do see a Gamma as well as Kibestif and Solemn Judgment. So I'm going to take the Gamma here because it's pretty clear that my opponent's probably not going to put any monsters on the field during their turn. And the Gamma can also potentially threaten me during this turn as well if I choose to use a monster effect, or if I want to like Maxi or something, right? Kibestif obviously does nothing by itself in hand, and Solemn Judgment, while annoying, about as annoying as Gamma, does have to, 1, be set first, and 2, will cost our opponent half their life points. So that's why I ultimately decided to take Gamma here. I just thought it was the biggest threat. Going to follow up with another Engage, and I do have 3 spells in the graveyard, so we get to not only grab the Hornet Drones, but also draw a card, which ends up being Forbidden Droplet. Because I'm under Maxi here, I'm just going to set the Droplet and the Widow Anchor, and then pass to my opponent, because again, we know the 2 cards in hand is Kibestif and Solemn Judgment, so whatever they top deck will not be nearly as scary. Well, hopefully it won't be anyway. We'll see. It does end up being Walls of the Imperial Tomb, which is actually a little bit scary, because there is the Imseti getting added here. They put back, I imagine, yeah, the Solemn Judgment here, pitching the Imseti with the Kibestif, getting the King Sark and a draw. Activating King Sark, I'm going to chain Maxi here. Although, to be fair, I should have actually chained Maxi sooner. Like, I should have chained Maxi to the effect of Imseti, actually. And this is a misplay I do kind of keep making against Taurus that I need to get better about. I like chaining Maxi to the Imseti effect, not just because they are summons that don't start a chain link, but also because your opponent's going to get a draw off of the Imseti effect. So they might draw Ash Blossom, they might draw Call By, they might draw Crossout, they might draw Gamma. So yeah, it definitely was better to, especially because I knew, like I had knowledge of what my opponent had. So I definitely should have Maxied sooner, definitely. And yep, here it actually is going to come back to bite me in the ass as they do, in fact, rip that Gamma. Wow, I forgot that happened, actually. So, yeah, my misplay definitely coming back to bite me here, as that draw 100% mattered. It not only will, of course, allow them to negate my Maxi, but now they get to go for Stardust Excel. I am absolutely going to negate that with Widow Anchor. I do not want them to summon a free level 10 Synchro, which is probably just going to be the Baron de Fleur. We can also go ahead and steal the Stardust as well, which will save us at least some amount of damage here. Okay, looks like they are overlaying for the Hope Harbinger Titanic Galaxy, and then passing back over to me. Looks like they wanted their Stardust back, so decided not to do that here. Okay, so I'm going to Widow Anchor, or not Widow Anchor, Hornet Drones. Opponent's going to, of course, chain the Galaxy, but now I can chain Droplet, send the Widow, or the Hornet Drones that's still on the chain link, negate the Harbinger, which will then let me resolve my Hornet Drones. We have the Econ as well. I am a little concerned here, because although I do get to go for Kagari, well, you know what? Actually, no, this is fine, because I can Kagari for the... Oh, I Kagari'd for Engage. See, that was really greedy of me, and I think, honestly, a misplay. What I really should have done was Econ, or for Kagari'd for the Hornet Drones, right? And then I would have been able to get my tokens, summon Kaina, but most importantly, I would have used Econ to then steal one of my opponent's cards. I could have linked off into... I was going to say Hita, but I actually don't know if my opponent used a fire monster. Well, they would have a dark, so I could link off for dark, the Dark Charm, or Gloomy. No, I wouldn't be able to, because Hope Harbinger is light. Ooh. And Stardust Excel is wind, isn't it? I mean, I probably could have figured something out. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't think they had a fire or a dark monster in the yard, so maybe that is why I end up taking the, No, they had an Ash Blossom, right? Because we... we engaged... No, they didn't, because we engaged. They Ash, we called by it. That's right. So I think maybe that is why I took the Engage. I was looking to just rip a card off the top. Well, okay, no, actually that's fine, because even if I don't rip a card, I can still get my other Widow Anchor that's in the deck, steal, and then make plays. Yeah, so anyway, but that's honestly why I kind of liked playing this variant, because you can get some weird situations like this where you're not even relying on your Snake Eye stuff to win you the game, but your optional side package shoe. The Sky Striker stuff might not look like a lot, but it is quite a bit to contend with. Anyway, we have a few more games to watch. Let's go into the next one. Okay, let us see what this game has in store for us. Okay, looks like we are once again taking the first turn here. This hand's looking pretty good. We're going to lead with the draw phase Wanted. That way we don't have to deal with a Droll and Lockbird. Although those are becoming less and less frequent, they are still quite annoying. Even though we wanted for Diabell, I'm actually going to lead with normal summon Poplar here. And then link it off into Link Kuriboh. Of course, going to add the Divine Temple. Poplar goes to the Spell Trap, which I can then send from there to summon said Diabell Star. Diabell F, I'm going to set the original Sinful Spoils, which I'll then flip up, sending off the Diabell to summon out Snake Eye Ash. We can then use Snake Eye Ash's effect. I'm still going to add a Poplar, even though I already normal summoned one, because I still haven't used the first effect to get the special summon, and the body does matter. So, I'm going to use Temple to place Oak. Now I can send Ash and Oak for Flamberge. This is something that I always talk about whenever Temple comes up, because it's a misplay I still see people making. If you're in the kind of situation I'm in, it's much better to place Oak than the Flamberge most of the time off of Temple. Anyway, now we get to link off Poplar and Flamberge. Although, to be fair, I already used Poplar's effect, so it's not like I can chain block the Flamberge anyway, but I think it's fine either way. Alright, so this is pretty typical Snake Eye stuff here for this game that we're seeing so far. IP and Link Kuriboh are going to go into the Promethean Princess, which will, of course, bring back the Flamberge. I can use the Flamberge to place the IP into my spell and trap zone. Gonna link off the Poplar with the Promethean Princess to go for our Raging Phoenix, the Salamandrate. And then since I have a leftover Poplar in the field, I'll just use Link Kuriboh now. Just get it on the field, because why not? I probably should have set Widow Anchor, even if I didn't really have plans to use it, because my main monster zones are currently occupied, because you never know when your opponent can clear stuff, like with Super Poly here. And indeed, Super Poly fusing away the Link Kuriboh and IP will let them go for a Garura. So I believe we are going to be up against tier limits. Yep. Pressure Planet Raidsoft is going to add the Kashira Fenrir, followed by a Foolish Burial Goods, sending the Trevakarma. Trevakarma F will then allow them to add Pearl Rhino, if I recall correctly. Yep. And looks like they're immediately going to place the Pearl Rhino in play over the Raidsoft to add the Rhino Heart, which is now coming down for a normal summon. Havness getting milled, and I'm finally going to get to use my Max C here. And it does actually end up resolving, so our opponent will be under Max C. Alright, Havness and Rhino Heart going to fuse into, of course, the Kit Kolos here. Unfortunately, there's just not really much else I can do but wait for my Max C draws. And the thing that kind of sucks about Max C in this deck, like I said before, I think the biggest weakness of this particular variant is the lack of hand traps in a situation like this. There are a lot of times where these kind of going second tools like Econ and Droplet and Thrust can be used in place of hand traps, but this kind of a situation is not one of them, right? When you resolve a Maxi, you really want to be finding something that can proactively stop your opponent, and here again, we just don't really have anything, so... If anything, I was kind of hoping the Maxi draws would deter my opponent from making plays, although, to be fair, I don't fault my opponent for continuing to just make plays, because not only is it generally good to push through a Maxi if you have the ability to battle, but especially if you can summon something like Rolkolos or another monster that maybe negates monster effects to stop the Nibiru, which is generally the biggest threat to a board state like this, where you're playing into your opponent's Maxi and trying to get the win that turn. Now they have Psychic End Punisher, which is gonna make that a lot easier to do, getting that that W there. So yeah, they don't even bother. What they could have also done actually is they could have used Psychic End Punisher's effects to banish like their tier cache, and then also my Temple would have dropped the attack of my smaller Snake Eye monsters, potentially allowing them to OTK a little bit easier. But I don't think they're gonna have that hard of a time here. Okay, Tier Cache battling over the Oak here. They have another Super Poly, that's right! And I'm not even gonna... I know it's their battle phase. I probably should have just... Well, I actually definitely should have just let them play the game out, because then it would have actually counted towards missions for me for the Duel Scup. But yeah, those super polys were just so brutal. 2 of them back to back. The first one causing me to lose a lot, almost all of my disruption by sending away my IP, and then the second one sealing my fate and causing me to lose the duel by exposing my board and giving them another body to work with. So, all right, we've got that one done. Let's go ahead and move on now to our next game. Okay, let's see what this one has in store for us. Yeah, we saw a game with Sky Striker plays and a game with Snake Eye plays, and I think these last two should have a little bit more of a mix, so to speak. Well, maybe not this one. This is a pretty firmly Snake Eye looking hand here, but I mean, we do have a lot of really good tools to work with. I'm gonna leave Bonfire here for the Ash. It's kind of debatable. Like, there was definitely an argument to like lead by normal summoning Poplar here, but yeah, I think I don't know. Again, you could make an argument either way, really. So, gonna have to send the Poplar from hand because we already normal summoned the Snake Eye Ash. Excuse me. But, yeah, we can summon Diabell, Poplar to the Spell Trap, Diabell for Original Sin. Of course, we're going to use Original Sin to send away the Poplar in the Spell Trap. But it's going to chain a Maxi. Certainly not ideal, but we will make do. So here, okay, my original plan before my opponent chained Maxi was to summon Oak. Then I could have Oaked back Ash, and then I would have had access to both Oak and Ash's effects, although I really would have only needed one of them to pull out a Flambridge. But since my opponent did decide to Maxi, I'm going to instead summon Poplar. That way I can add Divine Temple, which will not only buff the Poplar that's on the field, but I can place a Flambridge into the Spell Trap Zone, which will potentially allow me to bring back my 2 level 1 fires that are in the graveyard right now. So that, along with Econ, is... you know, I'm honestly pretty satisfied with this setup here. Like, obviously, it's not a full Snake Eye board that you would ideally like to see turn 1. But I think that, again, we have enough disruption here. Not even just disruption, but also, like, we were going to summon so many bodies during our opponent's turn, right? Between the Flambridge that just came out and then also potentially getting the level 1 fires out of the yard. In fact, it's going to happen right here. We're going to... as Imseti battles over the Diabell here, Diabell sends Flambridge, brings herself back. Diabell F will activate, as well as the Flambridge effect. Oh, and then our opponent just can see. Wow, I didn't realize it was going to be that quick. But yep, there we go. As quickly as the duel started, it is already over as our opponent realizes they are not able to... successfully push through our board while also, you know, minimizing the amount of advantage we're going to gain off of the Maxi. Plus, I mean, let's be real here. Like, we had enough follow-up in this particular instance, even without the Maxi draws, to have been able to come back more likely than not in this situation. Even if our opponent makes a big, scary, like, Xyz monster, we can always just take it with Econ or something. So, all right, that is... Oh, no, we have one more game left. That's right, one more duel. Let's finish off with that one. Alright, here is our final game for this video. Yeah, I think Sky Striker Snake Eye is a deck I'd like to come back to at some point and refine, potentially, but I don't know. At the same time, that list is always so long. So many decks that I enjoy playing in so little time, but here it looks like we're going second against Branded. Opponent's going to lead with Aliber to add the Branded Fusion. Of course, going to wait to chain the Maxi till we get to that. Alright, Branded Fusion sending Genta alongside Albaz, so it's a Dark World Branded deck. It's kind of interesting. It's not even 60 cards either. You'd expect a combination like Branded and Dark World to be a higher deck. Well, Branded in general is usually a higher deck count than 40, but... this is actually one of those instances where I would have really liked to have seen our opponent's deck list here. Alright, drawing for turn, I'm going to lead with the Bonfire here, mostly just to see if they had an Ash Blossom for it, but before I make any amount of plays while my main monster zone is clear, I'm going to Widow Anchor the Mirror Jade to negate its effect, and now I can Snake Eye Ash for a Poplar, special the Poplar effect for the Divine Temple. Remember, this deck plays more like pure Snake Eye, so more often than not, you're going to want to grab Temple, not the Original Sin off of the Poplar there. So here they have Dark World Puppetry. to banish the fires in our graveyard, while also summoning Grapha, Dragon Overlord of Dark World, which will pop our Flamberge, which now has no level 1 fires to bring back. However, we do have the Thrust, so I'm going to use that for talent, and then I'm going to use the talent to take the opponent's Mirror Jade. Even though I did negate it, I still won't want the body, and I don't want to deal with the body. I guess is more the thing than anything else, right? So what I can do here is I can place the Flamberge in the spell trap. I'm going to Droplet, send the Poplar in hand to negate Aliber. That looks kind of weird, but what I'm going to do next is summon the Magician Souls, use the effect to send the Temple and the Flamberge, draw 2, and now I can proc Flamberge because now I have 2 level 1 fires in the yard to summon 2 Poplars. So another reason why Magician Soul is quite good, being able to summon out the what is it? The stuff off the Flamberge effect. And then this is kind of what I alluded to in the profile earlier. Like, as you can see, more than half of our board just consists of bodies that our opponent put into play. So we Widow Anchored the Mirror Jade, but not to steal it, just to negate it. Then later stole it with triple tax anyway. Stealing the Aliber with Econ, mostly just to get a clean, I don't know, I guess there are plenty of ways to deal with that Aliber besides Econ, but I'm like, I'm going to steal enough of my opponent's stuff, I might as well take this too. And then, of course, bringing back their Grapha with our the Dark Charmer Gloomy, so good stuff. Alright, that is going to be it for that duel, and it's going to be it for these this video as well as these games. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this particular deck profile. Let us now move to our outro. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. That means a lot to me. It's also a great way to support the channel, so thank you very much in that way as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, like the very special patrons that I am thanking here, you can do so by checking out some of the links in the description. One of those goes to the Patreon, where you can join these fine folk and support the channel that way. I do post daily content over on Patreon, so you do get something for supporting there. And if you're interested, I also have a coaching tier option as well. Details again will be on Patreon in the link below. Also in the description linked below is my Twitch page where I stream a few times a week. You can go ahead and check that out, follow or subscribe over there if you ever want to catch me live. You'll also find my second YouTube channel if you feel like subscribing over there to watch some of the Twitch VODs as well as some additional non-Yu-Gi-Oh related content that I make over there. Again, any of those links you want to check out is all a great way of supporting. But again, even if you don't do that, just watching was also a fantastic way to support. And once again, I have to thank you so very much. But in any case, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out, and I'm hoping you have a fantastic day.